Good morning everybody, and this is your Forex day trade setups for today. So we had a bit of noise coming out of the US with the Fed's minutes, which is basically why we are all over the place. At the moment, we didn't really test this level that we were looking for yesterday, and that is 109.451. It does look like we're finding an area of support at the moment, so I just would put a level in there, and probably scroll to the left, you'll see what that means. So you can see here's the area. So this is back to when is this? April last year. So you can see this is an area where we were trying to find resistance, and then eventually broke through and found support on it, which is a significant breakout anyway. So at the moment, that is the area of support. It doesn't look like we are going anywhere. It looks like we are ranging, and that is the structure of yesterday. So for me, it's really I was going to fine tune it onto the top here, but I wouldn't bother with that until we break through this range. It is a sit on hand scenario. So if we start breaking down below 108.762, which is a very significant area, I'd want to see a retest of it before jumping in short. Alternatively, possibly top of range, it would be an opportunity, or you may get a fake out of this range. So there is another area of resistance. So a move up into 109.586 and then a rejection. So that's kind of the view I've got. Problem with that is that it does break the high of yesterday. So until we get above the high of yesterday or the low of yesterday, I am sit on hands for looking at a trade there. US dollar Japanese yen, another one going nowhere slowly. So we had this massive rally, big sort of flag pullback, and then another sort of half-hearted rally with a few big exhaustion bars. But if we break down to the hour, same scenario here. We have a range, and at the moment we've kind of flirting with the bottom of the range, or kind of broken the range. That's the one way of looking at it. The other way, which is probably the way that I would prefer, is it is a consolidation phase of a bull trend. So the bigger trend is pretty massive bull trend if you look at that over a lot of days. Then we've got all this volatility, and now it does look like we're trying to find some form of structure here, and if we can find the structure, there's an opportunity to buy into this. There's nothing to the left which is indicating a decent area for a pullback. I suppose that would be the only one, and that is 123.018. So personally, I would be watching this area that we still spoke about yesterday, and you see we bounced off it a couple of times, but I want to see us get above here, come back and find support, and see if we can get the continuation. We're going to have to break this trend line to the upside, this diagonal trend line here, to validate a flag. So a couple of scenarios. If we can find support here, probably well worth taking a punt at it. With you're going to have a 300-point stop loss. Alternatively, you can be a little bit more conservative and wait for a break and retest of this area here, which is 123.94 or 124, should we say, the round number. So that's kind of the play there. Moving on to pound, British pound, Japanese yen, pretty much the same picture as US dollar Japanese yen. You can see strong move up, pull back, and then just mucking around here with a bit of a pin bar, and it looks like a triangle head and shoulders type thing on the lower time frames. You can see there's a high, lower high. So again, we've tested this area already, which is 161.506. So that's still another area I'd be paying attention to. But the other area that I would be paying attention to is this rejection area here, 162. So we can get above 162 and retest. That validates a bit of a flag break, and we can start trading back to the upside. If we start breaking below 161.500, I'd be very cautious, because we do have a massive area of support right here. So we do pull back to 161, 162, probably a good opportunity for a continuation to the upside trade, and that is going to give you a fairly large stop loss, so 800-point stop loss. But if we just get back to the 8 hour, as we said yesterday, this area that we are bouncing in, you can see we've got to go back so far just to see what's happening. I think just going to go to the weekly rather. and you can see what happened back in 2016. It's a massive area of resistance here. So we are back in the area. We've got one big resistance bar, and now we're trying to get a green close, weekly close above there. So my bias is to the upside, but we should be buying off support. I think that's the bottom line. And at the moment, we don't really have that structure. Possibly a bit deeper would be a decent one. So 161, 162. Alternatively, we need to just look at this area here. London breakout might actually work out. If we start breaking to the upside, that would be a trade to take. Euro British pound, big move up onto resistance, and then we've gone sideways. Oscillators are grouped to the downside. I don't like this. It's been above and below the moving averages for so long on the 8 hour. No clear trend there, more of a range bound trade. But if you look at the 1 hour, we do have a pretty solid downward trend for this week. So, sorry, let's just get levels here. So that is a fairly strong level. It is a strong weekly level as well. And let's just get that area there. So that is our range. Until we break that range one way or another, this is a sit on hand scenario. So break and retest 083272, then we are looking for a bigger move down to more than likely 083158, and then a little bit more down to 083057. I don't see it moving beyond that. If we move above the highs of yesterday, then you have a potential move to the upside, and I would go with the range height first. So that's the consolidation there. That would be the first target for me, would be that area there, which you can see the 155 moving average is in that area, and you can see there is a little bit of resistance a little bit higher right there. So those are my levels. So 083, 849 or 850 would be the maximum that I'd hold on for. So anyway, that's kind of my view here. We need to break this range one way or another, and I think the range break to the downside is pretty close to the support as well. So that's the options that are on the table here. Hope it helps, and we'll catch up with you tomorrow morning. Cheers for now.